right, let's get into it with Mr. Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Gorsuch, and former chief counsel for nominations for the United States Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Mike, welcome back to the show, sir. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Mike, walk us through this, please. What was this push from Missouri to block the Trump gag order and then sentencing in the hush money trial? What is that all about? How did that turn out, sir?
The Missouri Attorney General stepped up for President Trump. It was an uphill fight just because there are issues with standing, whether the Missouri Attorney General had the standing to bring a challenge on behalf of Missouri voters who were not party to these Trump cases. But he should be commended for doing this because we need more of these Republican government officials, these politicians, these state attorneys general, these members of Congress stepping up against this lawfare and election interference, unprecedented Republican-ending lawfare and election interference against President Trump. But I would say this with this Manhattan Democrat Judge Juan Merchan, who is corrupt, whose daughter, Lauren Merchan, is raising millions of dollars off of this unprecedented criminal prosecution of President Trump, requiring his recusal under New York statute. He's moved this conviction and sentencing date back to September 18th. If he actually moves forward and convicts President Trump, remember, President Trump is not a convicted felon right now until he's convicted by the court. If Merchan moves forward with a conviction and sentencing on September 8th, President Trump is going to be able to get this up to the Supreme Court very quickly, and the Supreme Court of the United States is going to smack down Merchan because this trial is legally flawed in so many different ways, particularly, most crucially for the immediate issue is that Merchan let in evidence that the Supreme Court said he couldn't let in, subject to presidential immunity. Trump's conversations with his top White House staff, Merchan let this into the trial. That is clearly a reversible error. Merchan will clearly get reversed by the Supreme Court if he moves forward on September 18th.
Hey, Mike, how could they put a poster up that says 34 counts, convicted felon, Donald Trump, a picture of Donald Trump? Can Donald Trump sue? He could technically sue because, to your point, he's not a convicted felon until that sentencing date. Does Donald Trump is he allowed to do something like sue the people that put those billboards up?
Absolutely. It's defamation because Trump is not a convicted felon, and he's not going to be a convicted felon after the end of this lawfare and election interference, because the Supreme Court has already ruled very clearly that presidential immunity applies, and Judge Merchan and the Soros-funded Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg let in, and Matthew Colangelo that got deployed from the Biden-Harris Justice Department to bring this bogus case in New York against Trump. Yeah. They let in evidence that is subject to presidential immunity. On that ground alone, it's reversible error. There are so many other reversible errors. This case is going to get reversed. He's not going to be a convicted felon. He's not a convicted felon now, and yes, Trump can sue for defamation.
Man, that would be awesome, and he just indeed might, knowing Donald Trump. Yeah, you know what, Mike Davis, while we have you, I was talking to somebody who I considered astute, family, and they're going. I'm watching Kamala Harris, and I'm watching this whole thing unfold, and I watched the speech when she first went to Atlanta and how they played that, and I said, yeah, it's the shadow government. And then this person said, who's the shadow government? What shadow government? Like they think I'm a conspiracist or something. And then I'm thinking of, isn't Matthew Colangelo, isn't he like the shadow government? Because it's not Merrick Garland who's the head. Wasn't Joe Biden. It's not Kamala Harris running things. She doesn't pick her running mate like they're making all all this foo-foo about the vice president Waltz now. That's not her. The shadow government, there's got to be lifelong bureaucrats, for lack of a better term. And Matthew Colangelo would be one of those individuals, correct?
Well, Matthew Colangelo was a senior political appointee to Biden and Kamala Harris, but he's been a political operative for many, many, many years. He was he came in through the Obama administration. He was the Labor Secretary Tom Perez's right-hand man, and then he followed Tom Perez to when Tom Perez went to lead the Obama DNC. Matthew Colangelo went to the Obama White House, where he ran labor relations, and then he went to New York to be a top political hitman for your Democrat New York Attorney General for many years, running lawfare against Trump for 4 years. And then he joined the Biden-Harris Justice Department, where he was the acting number 3. But then he works with these deep state operatives, as you're talking to, the shadow governments. And here's the issue. Justice Neil Gorsuch, my former boss, just put out a book about this today, right? It's called Overruled, and where you have so many different laws out there that it's so easy for these deep state operatives to manipulate these laws to go after their political enemies. I mean, there are too many laws on the books, as Justice Gorsuch's book Overruled points out, and it's too easy to entrap Americans if you don't like them, if they're unpopular, if they're unfavorable. And that's what they've done. They've contorted the law with these political operatives have contorted the law. Too many laws in the books. And people don't even know that you're breaking the law. You don't even know you're breaking the law after your jury trial because they didn't tell the jury what the law is in the Trump case, and then you label them a convicted felon and try to take them out of politically because you can't beat them at the ballot box. It's absurd what these Biden-Harris Democrats have done. They've taken the country to the brink. They tried to bankrupt Trump. They tried to throw him in prison for the rest of his life. When that didn't work, they just tried to take him off the ballot. When the Supreme Court stepped in, Biden and Harris intentionally underfunded Trump's Secret Service detail, denied several requests from Trump's Secret Service detail to beef up protection. While they beefed up protection for Ukraine's President Zelensky, they declined to beef up protection for American President Trump. Biden said to put a bullseye on his head, and guess what? What do you think is going to happen when you say that Trump is an existential threat to democracy? He must be stopped at all costs, and then you defund his Secret Service and run on this campaign strategy that Trump must be stopped because he's Hitler. What do you think is going to happen? And then when the assassination attempt failed, what did Biden and Harris do? Now they're trying to destroy the Supreme Court of the United States that stopped them.
Yeah, and Justice Gorsuch warned of Biden's SCOTUS proposals. And you agree, of course, with Gorsuch. I mean, none of us as citizens, we don't know half of your intellect regarding the Supreme Court, Mike Davis. But that was so weird. Talk about weird. They use the word weird. Biden is weird. He goes out. And it wasn't him. Whoever it was in the White House put Biden up to it. And that'll never, term limits and all those things will never come to be, correct?
No, I mean, as Justice Gorsuch points out, with his new book, Overruled, you have lifetime tenure and pay protection for Supreme Court justices because it's their job to protect the unpopular, right? You need judges to protect the unpopular. The popular people are not the subjects to this lawfare. It's the unpopular people. They went after Trump after he was unpopular after January 6th because the Democrats smeared him relentlessly after January 6th, and they went after him. And it was the Supreme Court that stepped up and said, you can't do this. You have to follow the law, and if we're going to follow the law, and it doesn't matter. We're not looking for our next job. We have lifetime tenure. We're not worried about taking a hit to our pocketbooks if we rule this way. We have pay protection. It's our job to follow the law.
Yeah, and we got to let you go, Mike, but if I may, this character, Jamie Raskin from Maryland, plans to disqualify Trump from office. If he wins election, they're not going to stop. This guy's got nothing, this Raskin character, yes?
He's a total goofball, and I would say this to Raskin. Are you trying to start a civil war? What the hell do you think you're talking about?
That's right.
To Jamie Raskin?
That's right. That's exactly right. Mike, thank you so much. Great chat this morning. Please come back when you can, Mike Davis. Always appreciate it, my friend. Yes, sir. Thank you. The founder of Article 3 Project, and Overruled is the new book from Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch. Joe Piscopo.